Yes. Awesome. Benton City Council meeting, January 2nd, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order. And Dan, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Wadsworth. Here. Councilman Sandretto.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
Here.
Councilwoman Alcazar. Here.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read that and read through it. Any comments or any anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the January 2nd, 2024 consent agenda as written.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
second, okay, and all those in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, I.
Alcazar, aye.
Motion passes, okay. Agenda, approval of the agenda.
Is there any discussion before we make a motion?
Anybody
Make a
need to
motion.
change anything? Regular reports, items, SNMs, right away survey change. Holy God. Is there any, just the one executive session tonight, Dan?
That's correct.
Yes.
Continuation of discussion of something that's previously considered.
Okay. I don't see anything that needs changed, so
I don't
I'll
see
motion
anything.
to approve as written.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, I.
Alcazar, aye.
Motion passes. Visitors' comments. Do we have any visitors that would like to make a comment? Anyone online? Okay, there's no visitors' comments. Okay, regular reports. I will begin with the staff reports. Who would like to start that? Jenny?
I do not have one.
You do not have one. Do we have one from the grant writer?
Most of the reports are in the packet.
Okay,
So
okay. Council committee meeting reports.
I have none for this month.
Since the last meeting, I have had no meetings.
Okay. Yeah.
I went to an irrigation meeting and they were discussing the lift station, and so I'm sure Alan's got that later. So other than that, nothing major.
Oh,
It's
bless
shutdown
Chri-
time.
Bless Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Items for discussion. We have a proposal from Dr. Nims for a contract amendment to engage in implementation of safety standards. We have Dr. Nims online if he wants to speak to us on what he's thinking.
How about now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is my camera not working, by the way?
No, you're there.
You're
Okay.
there.
Sorry, I'm not seeing it on my screen. So hopefully you guys can see me. I'll kind of click it on and off as we discuss. So firstly, good evening, Mayor and councilmen and women, and I believe engineers and a couple other folks that we may have there. So yeah, this is, let me start with this. That amendment was written a little bit early. And so there is room to mess with it a little bit because as far as the fees go, I think that we can all work together and figure out something. I believe we all want to get to the safe standards that the reason I was hired for. Now, with that said, if I were to share my screen, would it be large enough there for you guys to see some of it?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm gonna stop my video for a second. You should still be able to hear me. I'm gonna try to share because this is an important piece here. So let me see. I'm gonna share this. All right. Are you able to see?
Mhm.
Okay. I know, bear with me. I'm trying to get here. So here's some of the things. I did turn these in. It appears that maybe they all didn't get passed around to you. We will remedy that immediately by tomorrow. Here's some of the things that I did. Okay. Now, for instance, here's the HASCOM. Let me get this to where you can see it. Is that large enough for you to see there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to just make this quick. I know we have other stuff here. But for instance, there's 26 pages. Here's what they're going to kind of look like. I got your guys' logo on here. And as you can tell, I do everything by the WAC codes that we have to have, the Washington Administrative Codes. Okay. And I talk about the scope, who's responsible to implement these things. And as you'll see, these are very detailed. Now, this is just to make sure that we're meeting code. And as you go through this is a very detailed document. Okay. And I have about 30 of these that I'm turning in. And those 30 don't even meet the full criteria. These are what I was hired for. But to make you guys actually compliant, there's more to be done. I wanted to give you guys a quick visual to understand the depth and length of what has to be implemented here. And I think it was more powerful for you guys to kind of just watch it scroll for a minute. And then when we talk about the contract, hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. Okay. So, there's a job hazard analysis. These have to be done, basically per work crew, per work crew, and actually almost sometimes per employee. And it talks about the steps, the hazards, the controls we're going to do, photos of what they do. And, this has its own, this is actually not an amendment, I apologize, an appendix to something else. Every worker has to be trained to these documents. We have the accident prevention plan here that's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. So there's a safety coordinator part that has to be done. There's an orientation for onboard training, and anytime a worker's moved, that has to be done by law. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that hasn't been being done that's been surfaced, and it's all inside of here, and it's all stuff that we have to meet. Now, as you know, we had L&I there recently, and the mayor allowed me to take the lead on that. And luckily, you guys did have some stuff there. And the fact that I was in process of all these things here, I was able to successfully defend us in that matter. And we didn't get any fines or anything, which was great to be able to do. And I'm glad we were able to get that. Now, however, that was a quick win. Okay. Because now we're on the radar. They know that we're designing this stuff. And now that they know we're designing it, they can very well come back and ask to see more of it. They want to make sure it's implemented. Have they been trained to it? And so really, in a sense, we as in us, me and you guys together, we have opened up the door that we did the right thing. However, now it's one thing to not have a full safety program and to plead a little bit of ignorance when in a whack shows up. But it's also completely another one to have all the stuff in place and have it not be followed. And I think everybody can understand that. So we have tons of these documents now that have to be here. And again, I apologize that maybe the links, I sent a Dropbox link, and I guess maybe it didn't get to you all. Again, I apologize. I will make sure that I get down there and drop off a thumb drive, or however we got to get this to you.
we did receive it.
Did you? Okay. All right. Good.
Yep.
Good to know. I want to make sure you did, because that's kind of why I'm sharing. I didn't know how much you did or didn't get to see. Now, I want to make sure that really what this contract amendment is, the sole purpose of it is, if this were to go back out to bid that's what I was told that would be happening. I have a large fear on that. And that fear is, there's nobody better to implement it, to provide the training than the author. If you don't have the author do it, you're going to be paying somebody else, and you don't know what their you'll learn their qualifications. However, they have to go through everything I just made and learn it themselves. The same as the people that haven't even seen this yet, the trainees. And that's where I really hope that we can make an amendment, because I think it would be a downfall to the work that I just did and what you guys had paid for, and what L&I believes that we're doing. That could all get changed by having yet another person come in potentially and try to present something that they did not themselves write. I'm a OSHA authorized trainer. You guys understand I hold the highest degree in this and some of the highest certifications you can get. I grew up as a Benton City. And so when you guys look at that wage, this initial proposal was going to offer several things in order to be able to help you guys. And those include, basically leading workplace inspections and assessments. You'll see I talked about developing, providing worker training and keeping that up to date. Safety committees, the meetings, the walk downs, the corrective management system for all the stuff that's happening here. Permitting for environmental safety and health requirements, being the point of contact for the worker, the management, and yourselves. There's a whole management piece here that's missing, and it needs to be done by a qualified and competent person. And that's some of those definitions are per WISHA and OSHA. Okay. Now, what I was going to try to do was just try to make it, basically a salary type thing. So that way we wouldn't have to be worried about how much was on the clock, and it would just make it cheaper and more beneficial for you. The proposal that you're seeing there was going to be a step where I was going to start at, and I was told, kind of coached to put this here, about 60,000 per year with the amount that we would be doing. And that was full representation. That was complete. That was also training, to where you guys would, whatever you're paying in training a year, that you get to drop that and put it here, because I would become the trainer. And then after 6 months and we notice things are happening, we would start to lower that price. Now, most safety professionals, if you were to hire one with something around, even an AA degree, or, a very fresh, non-experienced one, they're going to cost a minimum of that. And, usually these wages go clear up to the 150s and 200s for ones at my level. And so basically you were able, I was trying to submit something showing, for cheaper than you can get the guy off the street, I'd be willing to help the city. And if we did it that way, we wouldn't have any kind of separate hourly rates. But now, after looking at all this and seeing the needs of the city, I'm okay to kind of pull back on this and allow you guys to, work together and figure out what can the city afford, because the amount that I've seen, there's a lot of work here to be done. And if it's not done, there's a lot of liability and some stuff here at risk, not only worker risk, but there's fines at risk. There's a lot here. I want to help avoid those. And I want to be as helpful as I can to y'all. So I'm willing to figure out what you guys can afford and work with you to implement it. I would rather that be anything than trying to rebid this out, make a simple amendment, because I do believe that the work I've done is a potential failure, having somebody with brand new eyes try to implement something that they don't themselves written understand. And again, I develop enough care for the city, having been a native there, that I'd like to continue to work with you. So there's a lot of work to be done here, but I wouldn't be scared off by the number I'm putting here. I am willing to do whatever it takes for us to be successful in keeping your workers safe and keeping us on the good side of WISHA and L&I. So is there any questions? Because I think this would be a good time just to be able to hear from you guys, and I can maybe better explain the pieces that maybe you need to understand or know.
No, I think we're good there. Dan, currently it's a contract we have with them, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't like the term salary in there. As long as
I-
we
have an amendment for a contract, that's fine. Work with the mayor and come up with something that, we can budget in and bring it back to the board.
And if you could also get what we pay on our annual cost on training, in-house. And how that would kind of weigh it out if he's gonna do the training and we don't have to do the other,
The vivid stuff, you mean?
yeah, whatever the
Yeah,
in-house training
yeah.
they do.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Nams. Appreciate your help and your comments. They're most helpful.
I appreciate it. And it's Paul's good enough for all of you.
Okay, thank
So
you.
thank you and good to,
Thank
at least
you.
my first meeting with you, Mr. Mayor. So
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
you're very welcome. Thank you. Next item, I'd like to do set a date for a council workshop. Any ideas?
What are we discussing at the workshop and how long do you think it's gonna be?
We may end up with more than one, but we set a date, let's just put a set time and what we don't get done in that amount of time, we don't get done and we'll hang on to it.
Is it something that could be done prior to our, city council meeting? Like starting at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, we could do that.
Cause that seems to work kind of well. David,
Mhm. You
is
know,
that-
a lot of people have jobs.
We can make that work. 6 o'clock.
6
Yeah.
o'clock on the 16th.
Is that the
6 o'clock,
next
does
one?
that work for you, Diana?
Actually, I'm gonna have
I will get out.
Wait,
to ask for that meeting and excused. I won't be able to make council that night.
Okay.
So probably wouldn't be the good night for a workshop.
16th then, we agreement or?
David won't be able to participate in that,
Mm.
that night, so we're seeing what would be the next,
It's the next best night.
would
And I need
be,
we need David's input.
February 6th or 20th,
February 6th is what, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
before the council meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I could do the 6th.
Okay, this is 6th work.
Yep,
Okay, well, 6th it is. Thank you, David.
perfect.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. We actually have a presentation from our engineering group.
Good evening and happy New Year's.
Same to you.
Um, what we're looking at, is, actually, it's probably not a survey, but just actually a legal description, for Highlands Road and Horn Drive. And what we would like to do is bring in, Horn Drive from essentially the, Kybee Market north to Corral Creek Road. Right now, the city limits is on the east side of the road.
Mhm.
And so we'd like to move that to the west side.
Mhm.
Then we have control of the access,
Mhm.
or approval of the access to the road.
You don't have a problem here. I don't think anybody has a problem. Do we have a problem with
Nope.
And same with Highlands on the
Yep.
backside of the development going
that?
on.
I'm all for that.
Can you tell them why Highlands is important?
Yeah, it's on the backside of the Olson Brothers development.
Mhm.
And so then, we have an easier time requiring, city standards.
Right.
So,
Makes
Up
sense.
for it.
okay. And so each one of the descriptions, will be $1,000 and that's below the mayor's limit. So we'll have him, get,
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
it is
total.
below.
yeah.
You said below, I'm like, what do you mean? He's got 2,500.
Lower
Yeah.
than, less than.
Before or after.
Yeah. And so we'll get, Roger surveying, to work on those legal descriptions, we'll get those to the county.
Okay.
And then the county will do a resolution. To move that, and then, we'll have a resolution after that.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Alan. Anything else, Alan?
Not on that. No.
Thank you, Alan. Next, we have George on a discussion of address an issue with our codes and. Oh, no, excuse me, I'm sorry. My mistake. That's an item that's going to have to come up for discussion later. I can't, talking to Dan, I can't bring that up tonight, so we'll bring that up again. Okay? I apologize. My
So you need to
mistake.
table that item?
Yeah, that is an item that's gonna get tabled.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor,
Uh,
Mayor, if I could, there's one issue that council asked for some language on clarifying a section of the city code and city administrative code. And I could pass that out if that would give council members something to look at, you and the council members to look at and see if there's any questions on what we came up with, just to clarify some language in the administrative code. But that doesn't take any,
These are all the same.
I think they're all the same, just one page. It doesn't take any action tonight.
Okay, so this is discussion then. So it doesn't need to be tabled. All right,
This part of it, there may be other things that will be looked at.
yeah. I understand where that goes.
okay. George, are you wanting to discuss that one application on the roof deal or?
That is an item under for approval, but I can discuss.
Further on,
Is it
Yeah.
further down?
yeah.
I lost it then.
Is tonight a hearing?
Item,
or
item,
is it the-
item 11 for items of approval.
Item 11, conditional use. I got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Items for approval ordinances, resolution 202402. And basically all of these are as an extension of the existing Sphinx contracts to their new company. Each one of these.
That's down later.
That's later too.
Right now, you're on the multimedia consulting service agreement.
Welch Consulting,
What?
Welch Consulting.
Yes, Akins, to Akins Consulting,
No,
No.
Well-
Welch Consulting.
Welch, the
Yeah.
first one?
I don't
Okay,
want-
yeah, it's Welch, right. First item is Welch Consulting.
And you're wanting this
Resolution.
to happen. Is that right? You want that contract to go?
I would like it to. If
Okay.
it's,
I just want to verify that the staff's good with it.
Discussion on that.
Good.
Just for clarification, we are not taking away any bargained work
no,
so this is nothing that a normal bargained employee would have the responsibility of doing.
it is not.
And this is just strictly the social media and our webpage.
It is, well, and as far as the webpage goes, as far as the city's webpage, there's a lot of this stuff I put on there. But if it's entailed changing things that I have no idea how to do, I'll call Wendy and have Wendy do it. As far as the social media, I have nothing to do with it. Nobody in the office has anything to do with it. It mostly goes out on the Benton City Community News Facebook page that Wendy takes care of.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, I move to approve resolution 2024-02, a resolution to approve multimedia consulting services agreement between the city of Benton City, Washington and Welch Consulting not to exceed 4,000.
I second.
All those in favor?
Sandra, do I?
No, Wadsworth.
Read no.
Sorry,
Hmm.
Mr. Mayor, you have the tiebreaker.
I will say yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Motion passes. Next item number 2, the county is revising their agreement. Council advises that we wait till there's a revision of the agreement that they've submitted to us, that we can look at the new revision. And that come up relatively in the last day and a half of working time. So that will be postponed to a later date. Resolution 2024-04, authorizing the mayor to sign and enter into the amendment number 2 for the engineering services agreement with Spink Engineering, transferring the agreement to Cooper Zeitz Engineering, Inc., also known DBA as Acana.
All right. Well, this is an amendment to our engineering agreement that would transfer the agreement to the company that we are going to work for, Acana. And so that's before you to see if you guys want to consider that.
Well, do we really have a choice?
I mean, no, we have a choice.
So I haven't been able to dig deep into this so far.
Okay,
Um,
so it's basically the same agreement that you have with us right now. It would just change to Acana. And then we have 7 task orders in front of you. 2 are new ones. It's still work that is typically done, but we're putting them in task orders to help track the costs. And then 3 through 7 are task orders that you already have with Spink Engineering. We're just transferring the balance over to finish out the projects with Acana. So there's no increase in cost there. The first 2, one is for general engineering and plan review is the second one. And with those, we looked at basically what we've kind of averaged the last few years and put those in task orders. That way it's a little more trackable. One, that's the way Acana wants to do it, so everybody can see where the money's going and what's being spent. A little easier.
Okay.
So the first thing is the contract with the resolution.
fine here. So
On page 295.
I move to approve resolution 2024-04, amendment number 2 to the engineering services agreement between the city of Benton, City, Washington, and Spink Engineering, transferring the agreement to Cooper Zeitz Engineering, Inc., doing business as Acana.
Second,
All those in favor,
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
read I.
Alcazar, aye.
motion passes. What? Number 2, I said we're gonna have to postpone that. The county's revising the agreement. We don't know what the new agreement's going to read. In other words, they're saying the agreement they sent to us to agree to is now up for revision. So we can't really sign the agreement without knowing what we're signing.
Gotcha. That makes complete sense.
And that came about, after they already saw all their paperwork and everything out and said, please approve this.
So that would have been, and I'm just trying to help out here, Mr. Mayor, is that would have been one of those things that we should have taken from the agenda.
Right, should have been removed, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's all
Forgive me.
right. No, it's, I get it, man. It's brand new. You're, I'm sure you're flooded.
Oh,
So,
my wife will visit with me when I get home. Okay. Okay. Task order 2024-4-01, general engineering services agreement in the amount of $20,000 for a cannon. Is this also a transfer?
It is.
No, well,
This
this one is, we're setting up a task order for, typically, we have a job number for general engineering, and when, you know, a phone call that, you know, might take half hour, we might look up, you know, short plat or something, or where water or sewer might be located, something of that nature.
Or you get a phone call from somebody on the staff
On the
wanting a
staff, yeah,
question?
yeah, or even some of the general public when they're directed to us, for different things.
And that is a limit of 20 grand.
Yeah, that's what we have, yeah.
I move to approve task order 2024-04-01 to provide on-call engineering services for the 2024 between the city of Benton City, Washington, and, how do you say it? Akana, in the amount of $20,000.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, I.
Wadsworth, I.
read I.
Officer, I.
Motion passes. Task order 2024-04-02. Plan review services in the amount of 20 grand. I assume that's the same thing, reviewing
Yep,
the Georgia stuff.
yeah, it's site plans, boundary line adjustments, plat submittal.
Limit of 20 grand.
Yeah,
Move to approve task order 2024-04-02 for Akana to provide plan review services to the city of Benton City, Washington for 2024 in the amount of 20,000.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, I.
Wadsworth, I.
read I.
Officer, I.
Motion passes. Task order 2024-00403. Dale Avenue Water and Sewer Project in the amount of 53,200, and I believe this is already an existing
Yes, this is
contract
a
we're moving
project.
from Sphinx to a cannon.
yeah, and we're holding a pre-construction meeting Thursday. And we've added, into the agreement, a survey, construction survey. So I believe our balance is around 38,000, and then we've added 13,200 for surveying.
I move to approve task order number 2024-04-03 for Akana to provide construction administrative services to the city of Benton City for the Dale Avenue Water and Sewer Project in the amount of $53,200, usually utilizing the ARPA funds.
Second,
All in favor?
All in favor?
Sandra, I.
Wadsworth, I.
read I.
Officer, I.
Motion passes. Task order 2024-0404 Railroad Bridge NEPA in the amount of 50 grand. And this is a removal of this existing agreement to Ocana from what I understand. Is that correct, Ellen?
That is correct.
Okay.
And actually, the amount, I think we've revised this, the amount should be 38,500
Okay,
for Railroad Bridge NEPA hits.
okay,
And this is also reimbursable by the grant, correct?
correct.
In that case, I move to approve the task order 2024-04-04 for Akana to complete the railroad bridge NEPA assessment for the city of Benton City, Washington in the amount of $38,500.
Yeah.
Second.
May I make a suggestion, just to keep the language consistent, so it says not to exceed?
I move to approve task order 2024-04-04 for Akana to complete the railroad bridge NEPA assessment for the city of Benton City, Washington, not to exceed the amount of $38,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Sandra, I.
Wadsworth, I.
Read I.
Officer, I.
Motion passes. Task order 2024-0405 lift station number 5 in the amount of $60,000. And once again, this is a transfer from Sphinx to Akana.
Right. And there again, we had to make an adjustment on that, so it should be 58,500.
Okay,
I move to approve task order 2024-04-05 for completion and design and configuration of lift station number 5 by Akana for the city of Benton City, Washington, and not to exceed the amount of $58,500.
Second,
all in favor,
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
read I.
Officer, I.
motion passes. Task order 2024-04-06, water and sewer systems generator in the amount of $20,000. Now, once again, this is one that does not exceed 20 grand.
Right, and there we had to adjust it because of our billing this past month. So that should be 17,700.
Okay, not to exceed that.
Move to approve task order 2024-04-06 for Akana to coordinate generator selection, procurement, and design and installation for water well number 5, sewer lift station number 4, and portable units as needed for the city of Benton City, Washington, in an amount of $17,700, not to exceed $17,700.
Second,
All in favor,
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
read I.
Officer, I.
motion passes. Task order 2024-04-07, athletic facilities grant in the amount of $3,000. Or not to exceed that amount. And that is one that we'd already entered into an agreement on, did we not?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any changes in the value?
No.
Nice try.
Are you sure?
So you get another 500 out of it.
Right. I move to approve task order 2024-04-07 for Akana to assist in locating potential properties for an athletic facility for the city of Benton City, Washington, not to exceed the amount of $3,000.
Second,
All in favor,
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Read I.
Officer, I.
motion passes. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And then we have a presentation by George on a conditional use permit.
Good evening, Mayor Burton, members of the council. Tonight, we have conditional use permit application request to install a 2023 Palm Harbor manufactured home with a 312 pitch roof. On December 21st, 2023, the Benton City Planning Commission held a public hearing and thereafter unanimously approved the request for conditional permit to install this home with a 312 pitch roof. This request, per our code, chapter 20.62.020 design standards, requires the main roof of all dwellings shall have a minimum of 512. In addition, into this chapter, there are exceptions to this. Exceptions to the design standards may be granted through the conditional use permit process based upon review of the criteria listed in the code 2.70.290. As part of their approval, the commission adopted the findings and the conclusions prepared by staff as set forth in the action of conditional use permit 23-02. Again, this is a new manufactured home. It's a double wide, it's 27 by 61. And it was to be installed on 140 by 90 feet lot currently vacant and located on Lot 2, Block 1, Sunset Terrace subdivision. Properties to the west and south have manufactured homes with 312 pitch roofs. Mainly, this whole subdivision is all manufactured homes or modular homes. The parcel located to the east, again, and 13th Street appears to have an older stick-built residence, which is really not part of this is subdivision, but it's on 13th. But it is buffered between the proposed location of the manufactured home by trees and shrubbery. The zoning map show this area to be within the R2 medium density residential zone. On December 6th of this year, we sent out notices to the property owners within 300 feet of this proposal. And we did receive one letter today from one of the property owners stating, I think it's in your packet.
It's right here.
Okay.
It says that they did not receive notification and their neighbor did.
And we normally request the applicants to submit a list of all the property owners. The list is drawn up from the county assessor's list of all the property owners. So if there has been a transaction recently, or if the person is leasing or renting, their name would not necessarily show up with the address. But we try to make a concerted effort to use that list to notify all the property owners.
Well, in this particular case, I can speak through personal knowledge. The two lots directly across the street, as well as the house off of Della, were owned by a previous council member and have been owned by that council member for going on 15 years or so. So they should have been on the list notification. This is one of those concerning pieces that continues to happen. So we need to figure out why that happened. Was it an intentional thing? I don't know. And as to speak to the fact that this is a modular home community, it is not. That whole area was set for stick-built houses years ago. And there was some complaints by council as to the fact of manufactured homes going in up there. And the process that went behind that. That wasn't paid attention to. So there's a whole concern in this particular piece for me right now. And that's my 2 cents.
Just to go on with this request, the applicant did meet all the other standards, design standards for the manufactured home. And again, this is a brand new manufactured home. Looked into the 312 pitched roof situation. That is a standard design. Looked at the actually state law in regards to this too. And they list a 312 pitch. So this was discussed at the Planning Commission public hearing. At that time, there was no other landowners or anybody appeared in disagreement with this request. And they did have a long discussion in regards to the design criteria. And that's the way it proceeded.
I want to clarify what you were saying. So previously, it's supposed to be stick-built homes going in that area, not manufactured
That's what that
homes?
whole area was designed for originally.
And it looks like there's a couple of homes that were put in a couple of years ago.
There are 4, 5, 6. There's 6 that have been put in the last 4 years.
So that goes against the community standards and then all the,
Well, no, they
It's
could
up.
put it in prior to our design standards, which most of those homes did go in prior to that. However, I don't know if there was conditional use or if they needed it during that time for the R2.
No.
Okay,
But-
so
well, what I was just trying to understand is if it's supposed to be stick-built homes, did they get special permission? Did they have to get special permission to put in manufactured homes?
evidently, according to what George just said, no, not prior to the design standards issue.
Mhm.
Now, once we've got those design standards in place, now in order to put this in that zone, we have to approve a conditional use permit.
Okay.
The other challenge is the way this state's handling this currently, and I don't have an answer for it. Maybe council does. On the state is pretty adamant about city's restrictions on zoning out manufactured homes. Is that
That's correct. The state law prohibits, does not allow cities to prohibit manufactured homes.
Right.
Yeah.
There has to be some accommodation toward them, and how cities do it.
Mhm.
Very few cities.
Excuse me. Well, I can't approve it today. For me, I think this needs to go back to, the planning commission. And those neighbors all need notified that are in that circle. And they need to have their voice heard at that meeting prior to it even coming forward to us. You know, this has been a problem in the past where notification doesn't get through. I have read this letter right here from this Leteau. And I know her to be an honorable person. This bothers me. So
May I inquire, was that a motion?
that is my motion, yeah, so it needs to go back to,
I just wondered because motion made, is there a second?
okay,
I'm not trying to direct this, I'm just asking.
I make that motion then, that it needs to go back to planning commission and notification needs to be made to people appropriately. So that we cover our bases and everybody's heard.
Your second,
I second.
all in favor,
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Alcazar, I.
motion passes, goes back to the planning commission. And this person needs to come in and voice their opinion.
Okay.
You know,
I want to make sure everybody gets notified in that area, please.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any general council comments or thoughts or opinions or? Okay. Council meeting is adjourned.
Oh,
And,
We have an executive
We
session.
have an
then we have an
executive
executive
session.
session coming up, so we'll take a little break.
Yeah, tell them how long we're gonna be out.
Regular council will be adjourned for how many minutes?
We can, what do you need, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes,
Okay,
6?
let's take till 7:55 for break. How many minutes do you need for executive session?
Well, this is a performance of public official, not a legal issue. And in that regard, I wanted to make sure that the yellow sheet at the end has a different statute than the one that's on the agenda. And the one that's on the agenda is correct. It's RCW 4230 1101G.
G, not I.
Correct.
Okay,
And I would say, Mayor, you would have a better clue on how long this will take.
Hopefully, we're not over 20 minutes.
okay, so executive session to start is 7:55.
Okay, 7:55,
Return at 8:15.
okay?
No action or action, follow.
I don't either.
Okay,
No action anticipated.
no action anticipated. There we go. There's our statement.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment?
You have
We have to announce that no action.
No action?
Executive session's closed. Council
Session's
meetings.
closed.
Council
Okay.
meetings.
Council meeting is adjourned.
That'll work.
No, we have,
You can do it, or the council can make a motion to
Are
adjourn.
you making a motion to adjourn then, so I get it?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor,
Sandra, aye.
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Alcazar, I.
council is adjourned.
We'll get her down.